Hi everyone, welcome to this Friday's Ladies Bible Study. My name is Nina and everybody's welcome to do the study with us. Alright, today we are going to start with the prayer requests that I had for this week. And if they happen to get too long, which would be absolutely fine with me if they do later, we will, or I'll end up just doing them on a separate day and then still do just the Bible study on Fridays because I don't want this to get longer than 10 or 12 minutes or so. Alright, so today if you guys want to take a pen and paper and jot down the names and the request, please feel free to do so. That's what I'm going to do so that I don't forget any of them. Alright, the first request that we have for this week is Roma. I've known Roma since we were both young girls. She found out last week that she has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Because of this, she is also battling a lot of depression, I believe, and anxiety. And you know how things like that happen. It seems like when you're down, the devil will just kick you. So please remember Roma in prayer that if it be the Lord's will to please heal her from this disease. She lost an uncle several months back from the same thing. So she's very fearful, and she has every right to be. So please keep her in your prayer. And then the second one is my sister Patty. She found out several months back that she has a ulcerated sore in her aorta right before it goes into the heart. So it's not a heart issue, it's an aorta issue. And what is happening is the ulceration will get plaque buildup on it, and then it will flake away, and it's causing her to have mini strokes. Her husband is a pastor. She is needed by him and by all of the family, and also by the church. So would you please pray for a special healing for her, please? There's nothing the doctors can do. So that is my request for my sister Patty. Please pray for a healing for her. The third one is the lady that I met online. Her husband and her and two friends are going to the Sight and Sound that is like play, and this year it's on Jesus. Her husband is unsaved. So would you please remember him in prayer that he will maybe hear or see something that speaks to his heart, and he'll know exactly what he needs in his life. So pray for him for salvation. Alright, we'll get into the study. As always, we are doing the study with my devotional journal called The Top 100 Women of the Bible. And this week, the story, or the study I should say, is on Anna. Her story is found in the second chapter of Luke, verses 36 through 38. I'm going to be reading that out of my King James Version Bible. So let's get started. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Aser. She was of a great age, and had lived with her husband 7 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 64 years, which departed not from the temple, but served God with fastings and prayers night and day. And she coming in that instant gave thanks likewise unto the Lord, and spake of him to all them that looked for redemption in Jerusalem. Let's see what the journal has to say now. This is all we know of Anna. You've just read the whole biblical account of her. But it is enough to give a thumbnail sketch of her character and devotion to God. Her name means gracious, and grace seems to have permitted her life. She married, but after her husband died, she dedicated the rest of her life to God. Hers was a service of many years. At 84, this widow was still constantly in the temple. She may have lived within the temple confines, or perhaps lived nearby and simply spent most of her time at church. Certainly, her fellow Jews would have honored her for remaining single and dedicating her life in devotion to her Lord. As a prophetess, Anna held a position of honor. Clearly, God spoke to her as she remained in the temple, worshiping, fasting, and praying. Is it any wonder that when the Messiah first entered the temple, she walked in on him and his parents? Surely God led her there to be blessed by the sight of the one she had long hoped for. Immediately recognizing Jesus, she thanked her heavenly Father and spread the news to the others. Like Anna, do we need to remain single and live in the church? Hardly. But whether we are married or single, we need to ask if we share her single-hearted devotion to God. Are our spirits so tuned to His voice that we hear and obey His call in our lives? When His Spirit whispers to us, is that still small voice drowned out by the cares of the world? Or are we so attuned to Him that we can obey at a moment's notice? When we share Anna's ability to obey, we'll discover how gracious God has been to us. His spiritual blessings will spill over into our lives and others too. I had a thought on this. I had written this down months ago when I did this study. And I wrote down, I got saved 6 days before my 13th birthday. And from then until I was almost 21, God was my every thought and deed. When I got married, I still loved Him, of course, but I was soon putting Steve first. I realize now just how precious those years were, and I'm so glad that I used that time to grow in the Lord. And the reason I think that I wrote that quote then was because Anna went back to her first love. After her husband passed away, she went back to her first love, her Father in heaven.